What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. So I'm not even gonna try for this one, because yeah, we're back. We are back. Our inconsistency is back. It's terrible. If Newcastle was the worst performance of the season, this was the worst performance by the first team this season, because it was pathetic. This has got to be the worst performance we've ever put in. Give Man U the credit for at least stepping up, going out there and giving us a game. The players aren't good enough. End of the day, their players are not good enough. If we show up, if we play our game, we easily handle them, no problem. But we didn't. We did not show up today. Maresca did not show up today. His dumbassery in the midweek formed into dumbassery on the weekend, because here we are. We rested all of our first teamers, and what did that get us? It got us knocked out of a competition, and it got us 2 points dropped on the road. Good job, Maresca. Thank you for that. He's an idiot. He's starting to show that he's an idiot. I've given him all this credit. Granted, this could just be a blip in the season, and if so, cool. I'll be happier next week. Right now, I'm pissed, because this is 2 games back-to-back where he just absolutely fumbled it. First of all, the lineup, you've gone with the same exact lineup that struggled against Newcastle last weekend. They got the job done, but it wasn't great. And I think we saw James and Gusto as the fullbacks are not great. Went with it again. And then his subs, I mean, bringing on Fernandez and Mudryk, 2 of probably our worst players on the team that are not defenders, obviously. What's that going to help? You've got Felix and Nkuku. Yes, Nkuku had a stinker midweek, but you've got both of them. Both of them are quality players. Both of them can step up when we need them to. You left him on the bench. You brought on Mudryk, who had 1 great game, and that's the last great game he's going to have for the next 10 or 15 that he plays. And then Fernandez, who everybody's been ripping into because he's been terrible. But sure, let's bring them on. That should change something, right? I don't understand. I don't know what's happened with Maresca in these past 2 matches, but he has absolutely fumbled both of them. And now, like I said, out of a cup competition, 2 points dropped. This should have been 3 points. I don't care that they got the new manager bounce. Yes, it gives them more energy, and clearly we saw that today. These players played with a lot more energy than we've seen for most of this season. It doesn't matter. We've still got the better players. We've got the more cohesive team. We've got players playing in positions that suit them better. Doesn't matter. Maresca didn't get the best out of these players today. A lot of these players didn't show up today. And so we pick up a point on the road, and that's the best we can do. And that's embarrassing for me. All this talk about, oh, Trafford's a bogey ground. Oh, I got the new manager bounce. All that stuff is, yeah, the new manager bounce is going to be there. We saw that midweek. A lot of these players played midweek, which means they did not get a chance to rest. They're going to be a little bit more tired. We should be more fresh than they are, and we weren't. We didn't look more fresh. We didn't look more energetic. We looked slow. We looked lazy. We looked like we didn't give a shit today. So because none of the players decided to give a shit, I don't give a shit. I was going to, clean up a little bit. I was going to clean up I'm not doing any of that stuff that I normally do for reviews, because if they don't care, why should I care? Why should I care to put effort into these reviews if they're not going to freaking show up on the day? So yeah, let's talk about individuals. Sanchez for the penalty, stupid. Don't go diving in. And if you are going to go diving in, don't go swatting at the ball. Make yourself big. I hate it whenever keepers do that. Just that motion of the striker's there, and they're going to go down and they're going to throw their hands at the ball. The strikers know what you're going to do. They've seen that multiple times. They're just going to poke the ball away, take the hit, go down, get the penalty. Easy peasy. His passing, again, also terrible. That's not his fault. We don't have a better keeper to play that position. But still, I mean, how many times are you going to make terrible passes before maybe you go, I should probably work on that? Is he working on his passing? If so, why is he not getting any better at it? Because, my God, it's terrible. Gusto on the right side, awful game from him today. Honestly, he kind of wanted to take a page out of Sanchez's book and started passing just like him. It was awful. I mean, he gave the ball away so many times. He was probably our most dangerous player positionally when he got on the ball. He couldn't do anything with it. Every single one of his passes when he got in those positions was bad. He did not give us a clear chance, even though he had multiple opportunities to. Terrible performance from him on the day. Fofana, obviously, still bad. I mean, the penalty is mostly on him because he completely loses track of Højlund. Several times lost track of Højlund, actually. There was one in particular. Rashford is coming down the right side. If he sees Højlund in the middle, puts it on his foot, it's a goal. Because Fofana basically just let him run past. Thankfully, he chooses Garnacho instead, which allows James to get a foot in. But, yeah, I mean, Fofana's not good. And all the people that keep claiming that he and Colwill are our best options need to start watching the games closer, need to start watching Fofana closer, because you're missing something. And it's all of the mistakes and all of the lack of tracking and all of the terrible defensive positioning that he takes up. All of that is why Fofana is not one of our best. I mean, granted, our defense is struggling all around, but Fofana is definitely not better than Tosin. From what I've seen so far, Tosin is not great either, but at least he's a better defender overall. He tracks runners better. He's a better defensive positioning. He's just a better defender than Fofana is. Fofana is losing his mind right now. Not on the level of Disasi and Body-snatched, to be fair. Still not good enough to be playing in the Premier League. Colwill, not one of his better games. Very slow on the ball. Honestly, this whole thing, I don't know where this has started, because I know we like to build out of the back, and I know that's Maresca's style. Since when is his style defenders getting the ball and taking 5 or 6 touches and only going a foot? Like, Body-snatched did it a few times against Newcastle midweek. I saw Fofana do it a few times today, one of which was right after the goal that they scored too. So anytime I see that, whenever we're down a goal, whenever we're searching for a goal, I see a defender take the ball and just touch. I'm sitting there losing my mind. If there's no movement, then why is nobody moving? And even if there is no movement, what are you doing on the ball? Because those touches, they're not good, quick touches like, all right, I'm keeping my eyes up. I'm seeing if anything's happening. I'm ready to go. It's like this lazy touch. Like they're on their heels. If anybody makes a run, you're not going to be ready to make that pass. So I don't know where that came from. I don't know if Maresca's telling him to do that to try to draw forwards onto him. I don't know where that is, but it's stupid. And it's even more frustrating when we're down a goal and we're doing that. It's really annoying. But anyways, Colwill, slow on the ball at times. Defensively, did okay for the most part, but still had a couple of issues here and there. He's still young. He's still growing. We need an experienced defender back there to help him grow. Because right now, we don't have that. And I don't know if they're planning to do that, because it does feel like they're just, we'll keep it young and then they'll grow on their own. You need experience to lead. You can't just have these guys go in there and, oh yeah, we'll just learn on the job. Like that, it takes a long, long time for that to happen. And most of the time, even then, they have somebody they're working alongside that is teaching them and showing them how to get better. So we don't have that right now defensively, and it shows because our defense is so naive and so stupid sometimes. It's really frustrating to watch, especially from somebody who, I love defense. Like, I played defense when I was growing up. I understand that side of the game, and I'm one of those fans. I would prefer to win a close 1-0 but keep that clean sheet than to win a tense 4-3 where we scored 4 goals but we let in 3. I don't like giving up goals. So whenever our defense is crap, it makes me more frustrated. And then James started on the left side, went to the right side. I mean, he's kind of the same player that I've had frustrations with in the past. He's lazy sometimes. Occasionally, he's just so nonchalant when he plays, but it's not in a good way. There's some players when they play nonchalant, it's because they're so composed that they don't seem bothered by anything. Palmer's one of those players at times that seems so composed that it feels like he's just not even trying, but he's still pulling off this great stuff. James plays like that as well, but he doesn't have that same productivity. And his passing today was poor. Defensively, he's getting beat in behind because he's not keeping track of the runner behind him. I mean, the Rashford chance at the end of the half, completely on him. And it's very similar to the Isak goal that they scored last weekend because he's losing track of his runner. He's not going with him. I don't know what happens, but it's like he just, as soon as the ball is over there, he just starts ball watching. They take that moment, and thankfully Rashford couldn't take his chance, but he very easily could have. If it was a better player, probably. Nothing against Rashford, but the form he's in this season is just not great. But players in better form, players that are playing and finishing better on the season, they're going to put that away. Yeah, so I know a lot of people really hype him up and think he's all that. I think, honestly, since his first injury, he's really dropped off, but especially as we see more of him, I just keep seeing those lazy touches, those lazy passes that lead to trouble for us, and the lack of awareness on defense. It's not good enough, especially from somebody who was playing at the top of his game a couple of years ago. To see where he's fallen, he feels like just another right back, another fullback. Nothing really special about him. He gets beat pretty easily. His passing is average at best. It's not good enough. Into the midfield, Lavia and Caicedo. Lavia, to me, he kind of had another game like he did against Newcastle. It's hard to really criticize him too much because he still is returning from injury, so I don't know if we're seeing his best right now or if he's sort of growing into it. He wasn't terrible today. He's kind of up and down. He had some moments where he looked good. He was taking players on, getting the ball in good areas and turning and running players, really doing some clever stuff with it. But then there were other times when he's just too slow. He's not reacting quick enough. Feels like he kind of turns off for a second and then suddenly realizes, oh crap, I need to get there. And it's too slow because he wasn't ready for it. So it was very up and down from him all around today. I wasn't surprised at all when Enzo was the one to get subbed on. I wasn't surprised he was the one coming off. But like I said, he's returning from injury, so maybe he'll get into it a bit more. Maybe he'll grow a bit more. He is also young, so it's one of those. I was not a big fan of his performance today because I think it was too up and down. I think we had too many moments where he kind of hurt us today. But I also am looking at it going, I could see the potential there. I can see if he continues to grow, continues to get time, he might turn into the player that honestly I think we saw a lot of at Liverpool, because I think he had a better game there. Caicedo, man of the match by far. The only player, in my opinion, today that can hold his head high for his performance. Because not only the goal is fantastic, but he was the one, I mean, just throughout the entire game, he's making challenges, he's getting on the ball, good passes, making things happen. He was far and away our best player today. And if we had anybody else around him that was playing well, I think we would have put this game to bed earlier. But the fact of the matter is, he was the only one really that was giving us anything. Everybody else was off it for most of the day. But yeah, going into the wings, Madueke, another selfish performance. I wouldn't say selfish even, I would just say bad decision performance from him. Because I think a lot of the times that's what his selfishness is. It's just bad decisions. He sees an opportunity, thinks he can take it in and take a shot, and it's just a bad decision because there are other players around. Today, his bad decisions were more so there were passes he was making that weren't on, or passes he's making where there are better options around him. Felt like he was trying to take on players whenever that option wasn't really there. I didn't even see that dangerous side of him that most people praise, even though he doesn't do anything with that danger that he creates. I didn't even see that from him really today. So probably one of his worst performances on the season. Neto, also kind of like Lavia, up and down today. Some moments he's taking on players, he's looking dangerous, and then some moments he's giving it away way too easily. It was a hard performance to really read because it would kind of go back and forth. There would be one run he'd make that was really dangerous, and he'd win a corner, or he's caused some problems and maybe create a chance, and then the next minute he's all of a sudden taking the ball, getting it easily poked off of him, and now it's a counterattack created for Man U. So very up and down performance from him today. Palmer probably had his worst performance on the season. For me, it was just he was trying to do too much. And I don't know how much of that is him, how much of it is he wasn't really getting the runs that he needed. But he started okay. I mean, he was getting on the ball. He was trying to make things happen. He was getting in dangerous areas. But it just felt like as the game wore on, I don't know, kind of similar to what I felt like Felix was going through midweek. Just that growing frustration almost started causing him to make simple mistakes that he's not normally making. I mean, the one in particular, when he's breaking away, he wins the ball back, and he's got Jackson to his left. I think he had Neto to his right, and then maybe Madueke far right. And he's running, and the defense is just backing off. And I'm thinking, all right, well, I mean, this is clinical Palmer right here. This is what we expect to see from him. He gets top of the box, has a shot, either tests the keeper and the keeper makes a great save, or he puts it in. And it was almost like he second guessed himself, because then he took an extra touch inside the box, and that gave De Ligt the chance to get in front of it and block the shot. And I'm like, that's not what he normally does there. Normally he gets top of the box, no defenders near him, he's ready to take the shot. And it looked like he was lining it up. Like he got there, and you could see him pick his head up, and almost like he was getting ready to shoot. And then he just took that extra touch. I'm thinking, what are you doing? This is not what Palmer normally does. And then the second half, it was very similar stuff to that. It was a lot of stuff where he gets on the ball. You could see a pass that's there. There was one, he picks it up. Normally, he's got Neto right there. Slip it out wide to him, maybe make a run around and have Neto slip him in, or even just slip it to Neto, get inside, try to maybe draw the midfielder away so Neto has a chance to run inside or something. But instead, he tries to dribble. I can't remember who was putting pressure on him, but he was just trying to dribble him. And he just back and forth and back and forth and back, and then finally goes backwards with it, even though Neto was standing there with like 10 yards of space almost for about 5 to 10 seconds. So I don't know what he was doing today, but this is not the Palmer that we come to know and expect. Whoever that was not Palmer. Like, it really felt like they did a brain transplant on him today, because he was playing more like Anthony than he was Palmer. So I don't know what was happening there. but we needed him to be at his best today, and he was not. Jackson up top was also a shell of his former self. Tried to get on the ball a little bit, but a lot of his touches were poor. He was really causing a lot of trouble for himself, basically dribbling into pressure most of the time. We've relied on him a lot to get on the ball and make things happen. He didn't do that today. He got on the ball and kind of gave it away most of the time. And even when we were looking over the top, I mean, they were prepared for that because they were sitting a bit deeper, so we didn't really have the opportunity to get him behind them much. So it really felt like Jackson today was just not anywhere near where we needed him to be. And this is also where I think Maresca should have made a change there. Slide him out left maybe and put Nkuku up top or something, just to get him out of that center. Because where he was in the center, he wasn't being very effective because they were kind of crowding him out of the game for a majority of it. So if you get him out in the wings, I think you can get him behind a lot better and make something happen possibly. But Maresca just made a couple of like-for-like changes, and it didn't really affect much. But as far as the players that came on, Cucurella came on, was okay. A bit better than he was midweek. Defensively, he was okay today. Passes were okay. Nothing really special. I do think it helped us a little bit, but I don't think he really brought much that Gusto wasn't. It's not like his passes were much better than Gusto's, honestly. It was just a little bit more energy on that left side, but then we lost a little bit of energy on the right side because James was over there. Enzo didn't really do much to impress. Honestly, wasted probably our chance to win it with Jackson actually doing well for a moment, capitalizing on the slip from De Ligt, laying it off to him. Should just put it away. And it just quiets all the doubters, all the people that have been talking shit about him the past few weeks. It just quiets all of that if he puts that goal in. But he skies it, and so people are going to keep asking questions, and people are going to keep saying he's not good enough. Mudryk on the left side, I mean, it's Mudryk, so what do you expect? A lot of dangerous-looking runs on the ball, and nothing in the final third. That's his MO, and that's what he gave us today, so that's where he is. But yeah, it's a draw, and it's, in my opinion, it's 2 points dropped. If you look at our performance today, yes, it is a point picked up, because the way we played, we didn't deserve to get even a point out of this, if not for a Caicedo wonder strike. But coming into this match, I think everybody was expecting us to get 3 points. I think everyone outside of the Man U fan base was probably expecting us to win this match, and that's just because they beat Leicester and they were flying high and they were thinking, oh, new manager bounce. But I think we were all expecting us to go in there and handle our shit, and we didn't. We came in, we were lazy, we were slow, we were playing around like there was no intensity. Honestly, I think the biggest problem I had with Maresca today, outside of the Enzo and Mudryk changes, I think is the way we came out second half. Going into the first half, at the end of it, we ended kind of slow. We kind of stepped off a little bit. We let them have that chance. We were letting them grow into the game. We ended poorly. So for Maresca, you come out second half, you should be going at it hard. You should be going at it and really going to hit them. Nope. We didn't. We came out slower. It was almost like we didn't just take our foot off the gas. We took our foot off the gas and put it on the brake. We said, slow down, guys. Let's play even slower. Let's let them get into the game even more. I mean, it starts, we kick it back to Sanchez, and he basically just gives it to them. And so they're able to run right back at us. And the more we gave them possession, the more we let them come at us, the more the crowd got into it. And it was just a matter of, can they get that first goal? They did. And again, if not for Caicedo's strike, we would have lost. I was shocked when they didn't go on and score a couple more because they were flying after the goal. I mean, it is what it is. It's 2 points dropped. Now we have to rectify it. I mean, we had to rectify after the midweek mistake that Maresca made, and now here we are. We've got another mistake we have to rectify. It's going to keep getting tougher the more pressure we come under. I mean, if we go and lose midweek this week, then it's really going to be a lot of pressure building. And then next weekend is Arsenal, and that's going to be a difficult game. They're going to be hurting after that loss yesterday. So, I mean, it could get really rough if we're not careful, if we don't step up soon, if we don't correct this ship, because it feels like we're starting to do that little veer off course, that little inconsistent veer, where all of a sudden it was like, oh, things are going great. Good run of form, and here we go. And it feels very similar to the issues we've had in the past couple of seasons, where we're flying high, no problems, and then all of a sudden that one slip, that one issue, the loss to Newcastle midweek, And now all of a sudden it feels like we're not nearly as confident as we were. We're not nearly that same level that we were. So we'll see what happens. But that's it for me. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on today's game? Let me know. We can talk about, discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. Also check out the channel. We have a lot of reviews on there as well as a couple Let's Plays. Check those out if you have time. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.